So thank you so much for joining us for Impact State of Mind. I'm Javel Parmigiani, co-founder and CEO of Impact Hub New York Metropolitan Area. Impact Hub New York Metropolitan Area is a nonprofit supporting entrepreneurs and change makers through programs designed to help impactful ideas succeed. We work across the New York Metropolitan Area broadly with focus areas in Manhattan, Queens, Newark, and Morristown, New Jersey. Impact Hub is a global association of entrepreneurial communities in more than 100 cities in more than 50 countries around the world. And Impact Hub's Impact State of Mind is a virtual series created to support social innovators during the COVID-19 crisis. Thank you for joining us for today's session. We have a huge honor to have with us Mohammed Faisal, who is co-founder and CEO of the Money Hub, as well as a dear co-founder of ours at Impact Hub New York Metropolitan Area. So thanks everyone for joining the audience. And Mohammed, great to see you, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure to be on.
I was wondering if you could maybe start by telling us a little bit about yourself, the Money Hub, what the big vision is.
Yes, my name is Mohammed. I'm 26 years old. I grew up in New York City. My family and I actually immigrated from Bangladesh to here. I came here when I was like 3-4 years old, and I've been growing up in the city ever since. I grew up in Queens. I went to school in Queens up until 8th grade. I went to high school in Brooklyn and college in Harlem. And during that time, I developed a passion for helping to reshape the educational system here in New York City and then ultimately nationwide, and also to help build up our communities throughout New York City. Very different communities, immigrant communities, and non-immigrant communities, and just bringing us all together under one goal of building a better city for the future of New York. And that is the work that I'm most passionate about with the Money Hub. And I actually founded the Money Hub in 2016 while in college, my senior year of college, where with the idea of getting college students to volunteer and teach financial literacy. We would develop the curriculum. We would go and partner with organizations like the Boys and Girls Club, like Brother and Sister Soul, and like the schools in the DOE system in New York City. And then they would go and they would actually teach it in a very meaningful and engaging way, where it's more relatable than just a retired accountant going to go and teach these kids, where they can't really relate to that person. Nothing against accountants or anybody older for that matter. It's just that we felt like we wanted to bring a different formula to really get the youth to engage and to understand that they're going to be in the position that these college students are in a couple of years. So I feel like that gives them a more sense of urgency and to actually want to listen. And the big vision that I had with the Money Hub, that I still have moving forward, is to be able to help the youth develop a plan, a strategy for living an adult life where they are pursuing their dream or are working on their dream without money being the obstacle or the end goal of whatever they're trying to achieve. And that could be very possible. We just need to have a strategy, have a roadmap to do so. And that's where we come in, and we kind of provide this. We go beyond just trying to teach kids about credits and investing and budgeting and retirement planning and career development and all that. But we also try to show them that how all of that ties to achieving their dream and ultimately living a happy life as adults.
Great. So why do you feel so passionately about this work, and why do you think that this is so important at this time to support people in this way?
Yeah, so the reason I feel so passionate about it is because I lived through some of the issues that I'm trying to solve, essentially, or try to. Growing up as an immigrant youth in New York City, going through the public school system from kindergarten to end of college, essentially, because I went to a public college. And really just seeing that these needs were not being met. Kids want to know how to budget or to be able to do so on their phone, but companies like Mint or other budgeting app companies are not necessarily marketing or targeting low-income and immigrant youth or people of color throughout New York City and other urban places. And we felt like, well, I felt like that if they weren't going to meet the need, we were going to come and meet the need, because it's very important and it's going to ultimately reshape the future of a lot of these communities and a lot of these youth throughout the city. And the reason I feel like it's so important right now, because of all the things that are going on economically. You know, people are out of job. People are not sure what's gonna be in the future. And a lot of those people are young folks graduating college right now. Imagine being out of college right now and looking at the job market and seeing all the cuts that are happening and stuff like that. So now is a time to be able to, you know, like learn financial literacy to where, you know, you can make the most of a dollar, you know, and that's really what it is. We believe strongly that the communities that we serve are never looking for a handout. They just want the education. They just want the knowledge to make the most and squeeze the most out of the dollar that they have, rather than just to receive handouts, which is a huge misconception that I feel like a lot of big organizations and a lot of wealthier people believe. And it's just not the truth. It's not the truth, from not just based on, you know, what we've seen growing up, but also from the work that we do in the communities. None of these kids are worried about getting a handouts. They're more worried about how they could plan to be the best them that they can be, and now is the best time ever to do so.
Got it. And with the backdrop this year, so many challenges with an economic collapse in some ways, right? The COVID-19 crisis. What do you think is at stake right now for young people? And what makes this a particularly important time?
I think what's really at stake is a lot of the mental strength of a lot of the younger people, because I feel like going through the educational system, a big chunk of the youth are made to believe that if they can't pass this math test or this social studies test, that they're stupid, you know, or that they're not gonna amount to nothing in life just because they acted out in seventh grade, or were placed or were labeled as trouble youth in their eighth grade class or beyond, you know. So I feel like now's the time to really empower them and to let them know that, you know, like what you do in the seventh or eighth grade, or the issues that you've gone through, you know, you got to just evolve through them and to overcome them and just persevere, because good things are abound. And if you hear the news and all the, you know, all the pundits and stuff, you might not think that that good things are bound to happen, and that could really mentally impact your strategy moving forward. So I feel like the empowerment of the youth is very important right now, as it always has been, but now more than ever, because they're so fragile right now, you know.
Great. I was wondering if you could maybe walk us through some of the programs that you guys have run over the years that were impactful, maybe what you've learned from that.
Yes. So one of the programs that we've run since the beginning, back in 2016, even 2015, was with the Brotherhood Sisters Soul in Harlem, New York. They're a great organization. They really get the youth of Harlem from a young age, and then they make sure that they get through their life as middle schoolers, as high schoolers, who then go on to be in college and beyond in the workforce. And they make sure along the way that you have all the resources that you need to succeed. And we came in and was part of their programming for workforce development, where we provided them financial literacy and career development. And one of the big things we did was work with first generation college bound seniors, where we prepared them for finances to come their first year of college, you know. So right before they go on and take on all these loans without knowing any of the terms, without knowing what they sign up for, and just, you know, fall into debt, all because you were sold this lifestyle of being a college student, that, you know, you have to go out, you have to dorm, you have to you have to be in debt. You know, like that I feel like is the biggest message that is being sent across right now in all throughout all media, is that for you to go to college, you have to be in debt, which is just not true. So many people I know that have gone through college, that have gone through, you know, dorming or out of state college without racking up a single dollar in debt. And it is all possible. It's not, maybe it may not be possible for everyone, but it's certainly not impossible for everyone. So I think that was like one of the most impactful things we did. And we have gotten a lot of good feedbacks from the youth who then go on to their first year in college, whether it's out of state in Albany or upstate in Albany or in the city in Baruch and stuff like that, where they've learned to budget and to like really manage their money. We even we presented a challenge to those students of like, if you are able to build up your credit score. So, you know, like starting at the age of 17 or 18, and then maintain that credit score above 700 throughout your first year of college and beyond, obviously. But we wanted to narrow it down to first year of college, all while being able to build up a savings, which is all very possible. So we not only just gave them all these values, but we also helped them strategize to build that for their specific need, whether that's, you know, having to dorm, so that's the extra cost that's in, or, you know, staying home and commuting from your house to college, and just like then being able to, you know, like, and then we told them to like, if they could like reach back out to us and show that they did, so we would give them a reward. So one girl who was part of our programming in the spring of 2018, and then in December of 2018, she actually got back to us with her credit score, which was 716. And she thanked us for preparing her to, you know, budget and to really be on top of her money, all while having fun in college at the same time. So that's the biggest thing. We don't want them to feel like budgeting is a scary word because it's going to like limit you from having fun or nothing. Like, no, it's just about understanding where your money's going and giving your money a job. Each dollar has a job to get through, to get to the point of where it's useful in a way of bringing you not only joy, but also not putting you in a bad position like that. So that was one of the things we did, and it was an amazing part of seeing the impact that we were able to physically make, and that's for generation, you know, because now she's gonna, you know, be able to finish her college and then exit college or her undergrad without any debt or bad debt meaning credit card debts and things like that, which, you know, we've all have done in college, you know, even I have, you know, and that's the biggest thing about the Money Hub, is that we don't come from a place of like, you know, like we did this, we did that, we were financially smarter or not. No, like we're saying we made these mistakes, we learned from our mistakes, and we don't want you guys to repeat it. And that's been our biggest message that we try to get across. And another thing that we did was inspire even younger group of kids, like 7th and 8th graders, to harness their creativity and use it towards building, you know, maybe something like a business or to solve a problem. So something that we did actually at the Boys and Girls Club of Queens, where I prepared them with the business idea that they needed, that they had thought of, and then to be able to like put that into like a pitch deck and then actually pitch it. And I remember you were there, you were one of the judges back in January of 2019, where they pitched on a stage, like a play stage, and we had prepared like 5 teams to go out and pitch, and these were like little kids, like maybe 6th graders, 5th graders, some of them were 5th graders, and they were pitching in front of total strangers, you know, like you were there and I was there and stuff, and like, and they were able to do it so well that you actually went out, and I remember you actually got some more Amazon gift cards to give to another team who came in 2nd place, because they were like very close. And you know, that I'm pretty sure, you know, like it's not about the amount that matters, it's about actually winning something and remembering that winning as a team is a big deal, and that's something that they'll never forget. So we try to create like unforgettable moments like that, moments of financial triumph or learning something new about yourself, about being creative, and these are skills that regular schools just not teaching, and that's where we come in and we try to meet that need.
I was incredibly inspired by the pitches that these young people were making, and how much they already implicitly knew about how to get work done. I remember one of them speaking about hiring, fresh graduates and like giving them equity and all that. Like, how did you learn about that? And like, I didn't learn about anything like that until I was in my 20s. And so it was really inspiring, but speaks to some of the the leading thought around the importance of exposing young people to entrepreneurship and how a culture of entrepreneurship can be developed that can help people succeed later, because it is such an iterative process that, there's a state of mind, right, that people can develop over time that can really help them no matter what they're doing. And so I was really inspired by that opportunity to see your work in particular. So I want to switch gears a little bit and ask you, so you're also wearing a hat as a co-founder of Impact Hub New York Metropolitan Area. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about how your work supporting youth and also in this financial inclusion space, how that wraps into the work that you're hoping to do with Impact Hub.
Yeah, so we actually met in 2018 when I was part of the accelerator program at the old Impact Hub in downtown Manhattan. And that was the first accelerator program that I was in as an entrepreneur, and that like blew my mind. That was like brand new things to me. And I knew the neighborhoods that I was from, kids were also just like me, had ideas to solve problem or like had the potential to be great entrepreneurs. But at the same time, they were never exposed to something like an accelerator or an incubator or a co-working space for that matter. There's no WeWork in the hood. There isn't, but which is fine because there's no need for that. But the bottom line is that like being able to expose kids to other types of careers and potentials where their creativity could really be harnessed. That's one of the core goals of the Money Hub. Is to show that like you don't have to be what you were told to be. Like a lot throughout schooling, public schooling especially, you as a youth or you as a student end up losing a lot of your creativity because you're taught to be robots essentially. That like you study, you pass the test, you move forward, and that's really what it's about. But we try to show you that your creativity matters, competition matters, and being exposed to new and different ideas throughout, whether it's your cohort of other entrepreneurs that are working with you or corporations that are coming in to support entrepreneurs, and just having that access to that network is a big thing. And I remember seeing that, and then speaking with you towards the end of 2018 and everything that happened beyond that. I told you I wanted to like if you were gonna take over the Money Hub license, I would love to support you. And I remember you were at the hospital when I was there and stuff, and and you were mentioning it to me, and I was really excited about it. And and I kind of felt like that you were like it was like you were like Iron Man when he was trying to assemble the Avengers together. So like you were like going out and finding people who could then come together to be part of the Impact Hub Avengers. And that's kind of how I felt, and I was very excited about it. And those were all my reasonings behind it. And I feel like it aligns so well with the work that we're doing in terms of bringing new resources, about bringing new hubs and new opportunities. And now more than ever in Queens, where a lot of people are out of jobs, a lot of small businesses are struggling. So being able to bring in new opportunities and then connect it with the ecosystem throughout the New York metro area, to Newark, to Morristown, to Midtown, to parts of Philly, other parts of Jersey or Connecticut, and just being able to access all that network is invaluable to many up and coming entrepreneurs and small business owners, and just being able to provide that resource is something of huge value and something that I care deeply about. So I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be part of this team, along with Archana and Karen, and I feel like we could do big things with it. So I'm happy to be part of it.
Absolutely. Well, the honor is ours to have you be a part of it, and we are excited in the future to continue to engage in Queens and have your work spread across the New York metropolitan area. And so with that, we have a question from the audience that asks, what recommendations would you have for schools planning to set up financial education programs for students?
I would say, like the biggest thing, the overarching key in everything that we do and that we encourage is being able to talk to the kids about money in a way that where you're their equal. Like, I'm not trying to talk down to them, but they also understand that, that I know more stuff than they do. But at the same time, I'm not like telling them like, oh, like I'm not telling them to where it's like, that they don't know anything or that they don't care about what they're doing. It's actually the opposite way around, where I want to know more about them. And I feel like that's where it matters, like being able to structure a financial education program around the actual needs, wants, and desire of the participants. So when we go, I mean, we obviously have a curriculum that we go and teach, but it's all structured around the dreams and the goals of that person. And then we try to, like, if we're in a classroom and majority of the kid, like vast majority of the kids, all want to, like go on to be in college and go through the college route, and then one or two kids want to, be creative, like musicians and others. We try to then structure the rest of the workshop around that, where it's like the first thing we do is like, okay, you have your goal, right? Like of what you want to do. Now think short term and long term of like, having a less than 5 year goal and a longer than 5 year goal. And then tying the rest of it around that. Like now you got a budget for that goal. So it's like you're budgeting to where that you got to make sure you have a roof over your head so your rent's covered and food in your belly while you are trying to, like, let's say you're trying to be a musician. So now, like, are you going to make beats? Is that one of your goals? So like for that, obviously you're going to need a laptop. You're going to need other equipment. So you got to budget for that equipment as well. So now you're budgeting for your dream, for your future goal. And now it matters more to them, where they're not just doing something that is, like one size fits all. So that would be my biggest thing. Don't try to create a program that's one size fits all, because that's what the educational system does right now, through testing and stuff like that. And it just like, it's not meant for everybody to kind of figure out what they're like. We're not there to say that every kid is successful in our programming. No, we're trying to tell them that every kid is successful in their own way. So I think just being able to structure things to fit their needs is not as time consuming as it seems. And it's actually very doable. I feel like that's their argument against like structuring specific curriculum, where it's like, oh, if you try to meet everybody's need or gear it towards them, that it's gonna just take up too much time, or it's not gonna, be effective. And that's just not true when it comes to financial education, because you're not really getting any blowback from the kids, because you have two options. You're either going to be there and work on your dreams and hopes and goals and how to financially tie financial goals to it, or B, you're going to get out of there because, you're not going to disrupt other kids who are trying to do that. And luckily for us, out of all the workshops and all the work that we've done, no kid has ever been disruptive. And I could proudly say that. And I've been in like almost all the workshops and observed and seen, and nobody, and even kids that were labeled problem childs or problem schools, and we've been all over New York City, and no kid has ever been disruptive or rude or not interested, because they know that this is about their future. This is not about us or our programming. It's about them. And I think that's how you should like think about structuring your financial education, to actually meet the needs of the kids in the classroom and to understand where they are and how you could take them from that point to where they want to be.
Got it. And are you looking for, I mean, do you guys support schools and school systems? Are you looking for partnerships?
Yes, I am actually. So what we used to do before COVID was that we would go and partner with schools where they would bring us in to do the workshops in person. and stuff like that. But due to COVID, we actually haven't been able to do our in-person workshops with all the school closing and in-persons being kind of dangerous for the kids, for everybody involved really, with the whole thing with COVID. So we haven't actually been able to be in operation. We did actually do a couple of virtual sessions with our partners, like Brother and Sister Soul, over the summer, which was great because that was the 5th summer in a row that we worked with them. So I felt definitely nice. But right now we're actually in the process of launching a digital platform, which has all of our entire curriculum that's been gamified, and it's based off all the things that we learned in the past couple of years of like working one-on-one with our end users, which are the students. And we've developed this digital gamified platform with our entire curriculum. So 10 different topics, ranging from setting goals all the way to retirement, with investing and credit and entrepreneurship and career development all in between, and buying your first home as well, because real estate is big. And then we're offering it a subscription basis to schools. And we're able to scale now because it can be accessible anywhere. So schools would pay it to have us come in. I mean, we don't have to come in essentially. Sorry, we would give them a code, and they would just sign up. And you don't need a phone to use it. That's the other thing. We wanted to make it really accessible, so where you could access it from any device, as long as you have a web browser there, so like Google or Safari or whatever. So you could use your laptop, your desktop, your video game console, your tablet, wherever it may be. So it's perfect for remote learning, and it gives kids a break from just being on Zoom all day, to where now they could play a game and learn. And the educator could check on the back end, because they would have a login as well of how the students are doing, who's where they at. Where they struggling the most, or where they doing the best, or where they stuck. And so you're able to communicate with the students in a way where it doesn't have to be on Zoom, it doesn't have to be on a fixed schedule, and it just stops them from having a Zoom burnout. And at the end of the day, it's fun also, and that's one of our key goals.
Mohammed, you are a superstar. There's no other way to say it. I'm wondering if there's any way that people can get involved, how they can help. Is there anything in particular that you guys need that we can spread the word about?
Yes, so we definitely need schools to subscribe to our digital platform. So I think just having kind of like pitch us or give us an opportunity to connect with a principal or a superintendent or even an educator throughout the tri-state area, essentially, because now we could be anywhere, and just giving us an opportunity to get those contracts and then be able to be back in operation again and just get going on that end. And we also have a 501c3 status, which allows you to raise funding like a nonprofit. And we're actually fundraising right now. So if you could, like maybe point us towards any grants or accelerator or any other opportunities like that for foundations and things like that are trying to support remote learning or COVID safe learning and educational learning. Financial education learning during these times, that will be very helpful and will support us in a big way. And also encourage any teens in your life, whether it's your son, your daughter, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your niece, nephew, whoever, maybe your neighbor, your friend, to please go follow our Instagram page, which is @MoneyHubNYC, which we're trying to turn into the one-stop financial education hub for teenagers, and it would be really helpful for us to get the kids that we're actually trying to impact on there. So if you have that network, please, point them our way.
So being cognizant of time, I was just hoping that, Mohammed, you are one of my heroes. You are one of the most passionate people I know that cares about making a difference in your community and beyond. And I was wondering what you would say maybe to a young person who is today looking at the world and not really seeing a clear future for them. with the COVID crisis and with school and dealing with being at home and then being at school and not knowing, whether they'll be able to go to college or not go to college, what the world will look like and what their role will be within it. What would you say to someone who's...
I would say be hopeful, stay hopeful, stay positive, and persevere through it, because this too will pass. And I'm not just saying that because I read that quote somewhere. I'm saying that because I lived through that. As of January of 2019, I was in a massive car accident, which left me with a traumatic brain injury, which had affected my my walking and stuff like that, and my arm as well, so my movement essentially. And I was hospitalized for about 2 months, 3 months actually, and I was in a coma for about 2 weeks. And I remember JP actually saw me in the hospital and stuff. He was there, but it was tough times for me. It was COVID for me before there was COVID. So imagine that 2019, I nearly die, and then 2020, my company nearly dies. But what didn't stop all that is that I learned to be persevere through it. That what is my current time is not gonna be what will be tomorrow. You just don't know what's going to be tomorrow, and that's why you got to remain hopeful. You got to remain positive about your opportunities, because this too will pass. In 2008, 2009, with the financial crisis, people thought, obviously it wasn't a major health crisis as the pandemic is, but it was still a big crisis financially, and a lot of people lost their jobs and were not hopeful about the future or about the markets. But that too passed, and we all flourished. And as entrepreneurs, you also got to know that out of that time came companies like Airbnb, like Uber, like Lyft, and all these other major companies. So you just got to persevere through. So I would say don't give up, don't get negative, don't get caught up in the news and all that. Just know that your life could change on a dime, and there's a lot of good things that can happen in the future. Just be hopeful and persevere through.
Excellent advice. Well, Mohammed, it was such a privilege to be able to speak to you, and I know we're going to hear more from you in the future, and we're looking forward to having you on again. But in the meantime, if anyone wants to follow you on social media, what's the best way for them to do so?
Yeah, so you could add me on LinkedIn or Facebook at Mohammed Faisal, so just my name. And then on Instagram and Twitter is Mo, M-O _ Faisall. And then you can find me, and you can follow my journey for recovery through there as well.
Awesome. So thank you so much, everyone in the audience, and especially Mohammed, and have a great rest of your day. We'll be in touch.
Yes, thank you, everyone. And I just saw the question by Jennifer about incorporating games. Yes, we incorporate games. We used to play Financial Jeopardy at the end, where we split the teams up, students into teams, and the winning teams would receive Amazon gift cards from us. And now we incorporated that into our gamified platform, to where you answer the questions and you gain points, and then we have a leaderboard for each schools, and then the top 3 leaders or the high scorers would win Amazon gift cards from us as well. So they would still be rewarded for learning, even through the digital platform.
Okay, so thanks everyone for joining, and we'll be back with you next week. Thanks.